So far, we've seen a number of methods to gain access to captive portals. Now, let's say your target network was using encryption, or for any other reason you just couldn't gain your access to the network using the methods I showed you. Then the last resort is to target the users and use social engineering to gain your access to the target network. Now, this is usually the case when we fail to hack into the system using the software and the hardware installed. Then the last resort will be to try to target the users, because the users are always considered to be the weakest link. So you can always social engineer them and gain your access by targeting the users that use the target system. So the idea that I'm going to talk about can be used to gain access to captive portals, but it can also be used to gain access to all types of other networks, like networks that use web, WPA, or WPA2. So the idea is very simple. First of all, we're going to clone the login page that the people are used to use with the normal captive portal, with the normal network that they use. We're going to make a website that looks exactly like the website that they use when they first connect to that network. Then we're going to create a fake network, an access point, that has the same name or a similar name to the target. Now, because our target is a captive portal, then this won't be suspicious at all, because captive portals are usually used in airports and hotels and places that have a large area. So they actually use a number of routers to cover this area. Therefore, if the user sees a number of networks with the same name or with a similar name, they won't get suspicious at all, because this is actually the way it is in real life. Finally, we're going to run a deauthentication attack and disconnect users from the network that they're connected to. So they'll think that there's something wrong with this specific network. They're going to connect to the fake network that we created, which has a very similar name, or maybe the same name. And once they connect, they'll automatically see a login page. Again, this is exactly what happens when they connect to their network. So they automatically see a login page, and the login page is going to look very similar to the login page that they usually use and log in with. Now, obviously, this login page that we're going to create will not have any type of security and will be able to sniff the data once they put their username or password, and then we'll be able to log into the actual network that we're targeting. Now, I'm going to spend a lecture or two on each of these steps, and I'm going to try to keep these steps as generic as possible so that you can use this idea to adapt it to any type of network that you have. So the next lectures, we're going to be doing the example on a captive portal, but you can use the exact same way to gain access to web, WPA, and WPA2 networks. And later on, I'm going to show you how you can adapt this idea to hack into WPA, WPA2 networks without having to use a word list and without even having to capture the handshake. So I'm just going to go over the idea one more time just to make it just so that you get the idea. So first of all, we are going to download and clone the login page that the captive portal usually use. Then we're going to create a fake access point that has the same or a similar name to that network. Then we're going to disconnect, deauthenticate all the people that connect to that network and wait for them to connect to our network. Once they do that, they'll automatically see a login page with the same login page that the actual network use. So this won't be suspicious at all, because like I said, they're used to seeing a number of access points with the same name. And when they connect, this is the actual procedure that they see. They'll automatically see a login page, and the login page is going to look exactly like the page that they expect. So it's not going to be suspicious at all, and it usually has a very good success rate.